Welcome to the OKC Thunder Los Angeles post-game show. I'm with my man James from the best OKC Thunder page on Instagram. What's going on, brother?
Not much. How are you?
Pretty good, man. It's pretty late out there, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes,
But I
sir.
bet it
West Coast
feels good
games.
because anytime the Thunder can beat the Lakers at Staples and improve to 24 and 13, there's really nothing like it, right?
There's nothing like a win, especially on the road like that. West Coast, high energy game.
Right. So that first half was really, really competitive. The OKC Thunder took the lead by two at the half. It was a
Hmm.
25 game. It was a 25-25 game at the end of the first quarter. But in those last final 4 minutes of that second quarter, we saw the tempo just pick up. Paul George got pretty emotional after Russ gave him an alley-oop dunk and he got teed up and he scored 7 straight points. And then he scored another bucket on Lance Stevenson, pretty much making them dance. And you had Russell Westbrook just kind of mock
Yes.
him. What did you feel like in those moments? And what was your biggest takeaway from that 4 minute span?
You know, those 4 minutes. What it really showed me is just the chemistry among this team. Russ wasn't out there having a great shooting night, but he's still able to get involved, as you said, throwing lobs and just keeping the energy up among the team. So I think in those 4 months, those last 4 minutes, we really just saw the resolve of this team as they were able to overcome that adversity and play hard, no matter what was going on.
Uh-oh. I think we lost you for a little bit. We can't hear you.
Better.
Better. There it is.
All right,
There it
sweet.
is.
There it is.
So what did you say towards the end? It cut off a little bit.
Just the energy that we saw out there from Russ, despite his lack of shooting abilities tonight. I think just proved a lot about him as a player and overall as a team mentality.
Right. So I do want to get into the whole Russell Westbrook debate a little bit later in the show, but Paul George, 37 points. He had a plus three. He was 2 of 11 from three, which was one of his weaknesses tonight. But overall, 15 of 29, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He pretty much did it all in his return to Staples Center. What did you make of him a year ago saying, I want to be a Laker, I want to be a Laker, and then ultimately deciding to stay in Oklahoma?
I think that's just the Oklahoma City love getting to him. I've grown up in Oklahoma all my life. I think that there's an environment here and through this city. That there's an energy that we can give as a community that Paul just really fell in love with in his time here. And I think that just speaks volumes to the organization, what Sam Presti, what Coach Donovan, and what our teammates are able to do to be able to keep a guy like Paul George, despite the temptations of Los Angeles and Hollywood out there, ever prevalent for him.
I agree with that. I think Paul George, do you think it had to do a little bit with Russell Westbrook also? The idea of players not wanting to play with Russell Westbrook because of his prehistory of kind of, not making the best out of a situation with Kevin Durant, and then kind of having the Golden State Warriors up 3-1 and then failing to close out that series. There's this idea that players don't want to play with him, and then Paul George kind of shut all that down and decided to stay. Do you feel like Russell has grown in his leadership role?
Yeah, um, I think that's part of him growing as both a basketball player and a man. We've seen him kind of grow up in Oklahoma City. He started his family here, but yeah, definitely that there's a difference between Russ from 2012 to 2016 to now. And like you said, we've seen him be able to go in there and create those high energy plays with guys like Paul George and Victor Oladipo and even Dion Waiters and such way back a little bit. But yeah, I think definitely just him being able to come in without KD and go into that alpha dog role and really get everybody involved in all aspects of the court. Uh, it's an unprecedented level, and we've never seen leadership like this on the basketball court, I think.
So he did finish with a triple double tonight, 14 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists. But the guy who I think had the biggest impact, that's really, it's always in a psychic role, is Steven Adams finishing with 14 points and 15 rebounds tonight. He was a complete monster, played very
Mm-hmm.
good defense for most of the night. Just talk about him and his role. How has he transformed himself into this big three now? And now people in the national media are beginning to notice that, you know what, this guy's pretty good. And I've covered Steven Adams for years now, every time he comes to Sacramento, and I've always been very high on him. I think he's a hell of a player, and I'm glad he's beginning to get the attention and the respect that he's deserved for a long time.
Big Kiwi is not he's not flashy in an age where basketball seems to be focused on the three ball and these big shooters like Steph and uh, Clay and the whole Golden State Warriors atmosphere. We're seeing that transition over into a lot of centers. AD, Cat, and Embiid have all kind of picked up the 3-point shot, but not Steven Adams. Steven Adams is kind of the last guy out there who's really sticking to the fundamentals of basketball, I guess you'd say. He's in there setting screens and grabbing those hard contested rebounds, finishing near the rim. And it's just not a flashy style of play like we're accustomed to.
Oh, lost you again right there. Still no audio. Not yet. Still no audio.
Can we without the headphones? Is that working?
Talk?
Is that working right there?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, sweet. But Steven doesn't he doesn't go out there and try to project this persona of something that he's not. He's very authentic as a player, his play style, um, and I think that's appealing to a lot of people now. Is that we're just seeing some good old fashioned, uh, hard nosed basketball, in an age where that's really not seen or popularized anymore.
Right, right. And yeah, great game by him, great game by Paul George. Russell Westbrook again put up a triple double, but he was 3 of 20 from the field, so he wasn't very efficient tonight. That bench really made an impact in that fourth quarter when they were down. And Noel came in, made a huge impact defensively with his quick hands, with his quick feet laterally. One of the best coming out of the draft. He was known to be that type of impactful player and has really never come to fruition for many reasons. A lot of it, you are a product of your environment, and he wasn't in the best situations. He's getting the chance with the OKC Thunder. He's taking fully advantage of that. And then Dennis Schroeder. Talk about Schroeder's impact this season. After Presti went out, got him, took the risk, which I thought was the right one. And then this year, Russell has kind of like his usage rate is not as high as it once was because he is giving up the ball now to PG and to Schroeder, who also demands the ball a lot, right? That's when he's most effective. Talk about his impact overall, and what do you think you'll see from Schroeder in the upcoming months?
Uh, you know, Dennis is he's a he's a different type of energy out there than you get from Russ. Dennis is always very cool, calm, and collected. Uh, he's kind of got that cool swagger about him. Uh, but I think that he brings his own unique dynamic to the Thunder, coming from Germany, being raised in the European style of basketball. Um, he's just a stone cold killer out there, Uh, but his ability to kind of take the pressure off of Russ and PG, and take over at times, whether it be his three ball or his ability to drive and create plays. Dennis is he gives kind of a dynamic to the Thunder that we really haven't seen since we had to move on from Reggie Jackson. Um, but that playmaker off the bench, who can get guys involved and is active defensively. Um, that's what Dennis brings to the table, and that's going to be really valuable coming down the stretch come playoff time. When those crunch moments get in, and we've got to be 100% energy, 100% focus all the time. I think having Russ being able to kind of collect himself while Dennis is out there on the court and not have to worry about playing, 46 minutes a game. Uh, I think that Dennis is going to provide a lot of depth come playoff time, and that's really where his value is going to be.
I agree 100% with that. But let's put some context out there as well. LeBron James, Rajon Rondo did not play today. The OKC Thunder took full advantage. Did you anticipate or just expect a win knowing that LeBron wasn't playing tonight?
Well, you can never really expect a win going into the Staples Center against this young Lakers team. Uh, I think the Warriors last week kind of had that mentality where they were expecting a win, and they go in and get blown out. And LeBron played the first half, but I think they got outscored more when LeBron was off the court than when he was on. But just it's never going to be an easy game when you've got guys out there like Kyle Kuzma and Lonzo Ball who are just young playmakers trying to prove themselves in the league. And so I wouldn't say I expected a win, but I did expect a good game, and I'm very glad we got a win. This was definitely one we needed.
Right. And some people in the top chat line or the text line, they're saying that Paul George has got to be in the front running for MVP. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that 100%. He's one of the only guys in the league so far that we can see so active on both the offense and the defensive end.
And I also agree with that. But would you say the front runner right now is Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Well, right now I would probably say Giannis just because of what he's been able to do with the Bucks. The turnaround from last year. Part of that, I mean, a new coaching staff comes in and helps, but Giannis has just been dominant. Um, and it really sucks that we have to sit here and compare and argue who's going to be the best. But I think it's just great to watch all the quality basketball we've got going on right now. We've got a lot of guys in the league who are playing really well, and it's a great time to be a basketball fan.
That is very true. I just watched your OKC Thunder come into Sacramento not too long ago. They finally got a very important win. The Kings have had their number for a couple games now. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's matchups, but if the Thunder play at that type of a pace, that's when they're not at their best. As of right now, coming into this game, the Thunder are very balanced. One of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They only allow 105 points a game, which was fourth coming into this game, and then they were 11th at 112 points in scoring. So very balanced. It shows that they are one of the best teams. And the big difference between them and the Kings are that the Kings are an elite offensive team, but they're 28th ranked in points allowed. So there's the big disparity, right there. There's no balance. It's a super extreme
Yeah.
both ways. And so, do you feel like in order for the OKC Thunder to possibly get a number one seed, uh, does their offense have to get a little bit better? Do they have to rank higher? Right now, they're 11th.
Well, we're gonna get Andre Roberson back January 16th, I think, and his defensive presence is gonna come in and make that defense that's already one of the best in the league even better, as he's a second team defensive guy perennially. Um, Russell Westbrook is not going to be in this slump forever. I think he's going to pick it up. But I would say right now, the Thunder need floor spacing in their offense more than anything. They're one of the bottom teams in 3-point shooting, and I think they are going to need to take some shooting steps to get that offense up there, um, to allow for guys like Russell Westbrook and Paul George to create. Um, because, like you've said, I mean they've got an elite defense, but that offense does need to catch up a little bit. I think shooting wise to compete in the West.
They're only half a game away from the Warriors from that number 2 seed. Do you see a Warriors OKC Western Conference Finals this year?
I see a Denver OKC Western Conference Finals. I don't
Oh,
think the Warriors
okay.
make it.
Hot take, hot take.
Yep.
And why is that? Have you been impressed with what Denver has done? Denver is actually playing the Kings tomorrow night, so I'm gonna get a nice view at what they do very well.
Yeah, Denver's got a lot of playmakers from Jokic and Murray, and they're just a complete team. From their 1 to their 10, they're all playmakers. And they all have the ability to go out there and play good quality basketball. And they play coercive as a team. Um, but Denver's a quality squad this year, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people come playoff time.
So ultimately, you have the Thunder going to the finals.
Well, yeah,
uh,
I've got them winning the finals in 4 games.
is that the fan in you saying that, or is that your objective side saying that?
You know, that's I think that's the fan in me.
But objectively speaking, do you see the Warriors barring injury back in the finals?
Um, I think the Warriors, barring chemistry issues, are going to get back in the finals. I think that they can have a couple guys go down and still be fine because I mean they've got the 4 All-Stars, but I think the biggest problems that they're going to see is going to be uh, conflict in the locker room, getting in their way of another finals run.
All righty, and let's. I want to finish it with Russell Westbrook, and I'll be honest with you. I think Russell Westbrook, and your fans after watching this and after you share it on your platforms, they may hate me, but I just feel like Russell Westbrook uh, is is a guy is he may end up being the greatest player to ever live to not win a championship, and a lot of that has to do with because of his persona on the floor and not being able to give up that ball, and because he's notoriously known for being a black hole in the playoffs, for taking so many shots. I mean, last year against the Jazz, he was really bad. Do you feel like this year there's a chance for him to trust his teammates more?
I feel like yeah, definitely. He's got a better chance this year than he's ever had. With Paul George and Steven Adams out there. Those are guys that you can dump the ball off to when you need a shot. Um, I do agree with you that Russ has got to be smarter when he plays basketball out there if he hopes to win games when they really matter. And he can't be going 3 for 20 in a playoff game. That's just unacceptable. But
Right.
I think that he's also got that swagger to him that he's been there before. He can take over games, and I think we're going to see him do that. He'll break this slump. He's not going to shoot like this all season, but hopefully, definitely sooner rather than later.
All right, James, where can people find you on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook?
Right now, we're just on Instagram at OKC Fanatics, working to get a YouTube up pretty soon. We'll get a Discord out there pretty soon, but yeah, just uh, OKC Fanatics on Instagram, and we'll keep you posted.
There it is, guys. Shout out to SeatGeek as well. If you guys want to go to a Thunder game and watch Paul George and Steven Adams and Russell Westbrook, make sure to use our code Cowbell and get $20 off your purchase. It's a great deal. If you're looking to go to the game tomorrow night with the Kings, also use the code Cowbell and you will get $20 off. I appreciate you coming on, James. I know it's
Appreciate you
super
having me.
late right now. Um, But again, great game overall. That bench really helped the Thunder spark the beginning of that fourth quarter, and then Paul George came in and just closed that game out. I think the Thunder will be in the Western Conference Finals this year. That's my prediction, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Again, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
All right,
Have a good
brother,
night.
appreciate you. Don't hang up, but all right, guys, appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.
All right.